Hey guys, it's Swan Rider, and today we're back with Shadowkey. This is the third episode of this playthrough. Today we're actually getting some interesting lore on what shadow magic even is, so that's gonna be very interesting. So we return back to Skelos Unreal and talk to him. Are you prepared to collect the 5 star teeth that I require? Yes. Excellent. I'm about to leave for Earth Tier to research the warding of the Shadow conflict. Meet me there when you've collected the 5 star teeth that I need. Goodbye, Skelos. And he poofed. So if you remember, last time he told us that good places to start would be from north from Ghast Pass. So we're gonna go right there. And it's actually where Shadowkey seems to become an open world game because there's a lot of branching paths, so we're not gonna explore that whole map quite yet. So instead we're just going to focus on the locations that Skelos told us about. Which first would be the Witch's Tree. You have climbed steadily since leaving Azra's Crossing. Ghosts or Ghasts? You know, I'm not sure. Ghast Pass muffles your footsteps as you follow the trail. The quiet calm bellies a sense of danger you feel in your soul. I'm not sure what bellies means, but okay. And it's daytime, actually. Nuts. Here, the slightest of things, a memento, a merchant's pack. Align a hero's path towards destiny. Forces revealed now are needed later. If the new hero can survive a meeting with a Master of Shadow. Yeah, I like these cutscenes personally. They're very interesting. Now these guys, they aren't... Where is my sword? Why don't I have anything equipped? That's more like it. We're gonna continue north from where we came until we reach like a smaller hill with a tree on it. Now around here there's a bunch of people and creatures we've seen earlier in previous locations, but they're not too much trouble. You can just go through them. I like these little mushroom circles. They're like fairy rings, right? Is that what they're called? It's very interesting to see them. The giant tree in front of you seems perfect as a place to rest. To think, to prepare yourself for trials ahead. And here it is, the witch tree. We can interact with it. The leaves on the witch tree rustle gently, although there is no breeze. Adventurer, do you struggle with shadow? No, not really. And nothing happens. But we can also interact with it again and say, so it seems. These shadows form when great forces oppose one another. They are ephemeral, seeking permanence, power. To ultimately conquer them, you must rebind them to the light. But only the fires of the heavens have light strong enough to bind them. I shall give you one such light if you complete all the tasks for me. What is first? There's an orc, perhaps less than he once was, yet more than he seems. To the east he struggles with unlife. Aid him, then return to me. We can answer yes, your treeness, or aid him I shall, or no thanks, yes, your treeness. So there is an orc to the east of here, and we're gonna go over there. Maybe just clear an area around here so that we don't have to run into bandits again, but basically just towards the east you're gonna run into an orc. And so it is. 2 rotting figures are attacking an orc who is tiring quickly. The orc looks at you. Could I get a little help here? We fight these zombies. Just trying not to hit the poor orc dude. And we can talk to Alpaca Trail Slag. The well-traveled orc merchant appraises you and likes what he sees. I was examining the witch tree back there when some goblins beset me in camp. They made off with my pack of goods. I tracked some of the blighters to this foul place. But Twilight Temple is no place for an honest merchant, or even me. You get my pack back, and I will give you the best reward I've got to offer. I will find it. So basically, it's the second location Skelos mentioned. It is the Twilight Temple, and I'm gonna just clean around here a bit more, but you can basically just go directly there. There isn't much else to see here, other than maybe a few spiders and other creature thingies. But that's mostly it. There are a few other things on this map and location right here, but I'm gonna leave them for later, so as to not prolong this. Also, I feel it is my duty to mention to you that beyond this western point, between mountainous terrain, you can find a woman that will ask you to do a task for her, that will take you to this southwestern location that you can just barely see on the map, which seems innocent enough, but turns out to be extremely, extremely dangerous. So if you decide to go there, perhaps don't. Perhaps don't. It is a very tricky location, probably because we're still a new player. But you can keep that in mind, maybe leave that for later. Basically, if you're interested, we started from over here. We go north towards the witch tree, which is, I believe, this thing over here. It is. And then you go east towards this location and you will find the orc. That is basically it for where you're supposed to go. Now, let us go to the Twilight Temple. The Twilight Temple is still. Despite the decor of the dawning sun, this room is particularly oppressive. Some power is restraining you in a way you cannot quite fathom, making the zombies in this room incredibly resistant to your attacks. What this means is that these long boys can't be attacked. So we're just gonna skip over them and go east. Now these zombies are perfectly fine to kill. It's only the tall ones that you can't deal with. Now zombies are just a little bit tougher than your average spider thing. These ones are even horrifying, I'd argue. The psychological effects are unfathomable. But they're still not too big of a deal to deal with. Just don't get stuck on the tall ones, because you can't actually fight them quite yet. Now, for some reason, I think a guy is attacking me through a wall, and I'm not sure where he is exactly. So I'm gonna ignore that problem for now. There's a well here. You can use the well. Water smells clean, fresh, untainted by this awful place. Do you drink some water? I will drink some water, or no, do I look stupid? Let's drink it. Nothing happens. There doesn't seem to be any effect on the stats, I don't think. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a healing effect. I'm not sure. But it doesn't say that there is no effect, so I'm not quite certain that there even should be. But there are these crystals. You can use them. They add agility. I believe all of them add agility. And it lasts for quite a decent time, so you probably don't have to go back here. You have a bonus to agility for a while, and yeah, I guess that's a useful thing. So you can go here first if you desire additional agility. I believe I've found the mage attacking me through the wall. And he died decently quickly. They're quite annoying, but as you can see, they aren't too much of a problem. It's just the blindness that's really annoying. Yeah, that's probably the guy. This room feels free of the oppression you have felt elsewhere in the temple. The undead avoid this room. Now you can go around here. And what you will find is this little goblin. Don't kill him. He's a scared little goblin, and we'll talk to him. Dead crawlers. Too many. Help for potion and pay? I'm looking for a pack. The goblin shakes his head. you-Spence sent pack somewhere. He would know, not me. If you help, I will direct you to you-Spence. Help me get out of Twilight Temple. Why do you need to leave? Need to find Scroll of Dawn. Use that, hold that, and the dead crawlers by entrance can be killed. The scroll room is near entrance. Had too many dead crawlers. Had to flee. The goblin shivers. I will kill them, then return. Now, what this means is that we can return over back to the entrance with the tall zombies. Oh my god, they're out. And here, if you go south, instead, you'll find walls of scrolls and rooms of zombies. I swear these bulgy-eyed zombies are creatures of nightmares. There's a few rooms. You can just go through them and kill the zombies so that you don't have to worry about those. So that is basically it. It's these three, like, pies. And other than me leveling up, I'm gonna go endurance. Here's where the scrolls that you need are. One is here, in this location. You find a scroll with a wax seal which reads Scroll of Dawn. Upon reading the scroll, you learn the necessary technique needed to destroy the Dawn zombies. You have acquired the Scroll of the Dawn. The next one is in this location, and it reads: chosen to explore this relation of world to shadow, Azra was first to realize that shadows were not a mere absence of light, but a reflection of possible worlds created by forces in conflict. A light strikes a rock, and the shadow is a record of their clash, past, present, and future. Other conflicting forces produced less obvious shadows, fire and water, wind and rock, or nations at war. With skill and patience, the shadows of all could be read, and patterns teased out, emphasized, or eradicated. Manipulating a shadow could, through contagion, manipulate the object or force which cast it. Azra was the eminent master of this nearly imperceptible magic. And another scroll is in this location. It reads: Azra attempted what had never been done before, manipulating his own shadow to such an extent that he instantiated and melded all possible Azras at the same time, crossing over from this singular existence to all the existences in shadow. Ignorant Redguard soldiers, fearing the power of Azra should he succeed, trapped and confronted Azra. The battle did not go well for the wizard. The hole blasted when he lost control of his magics can still be seen at the village that bears his name, Azra's Crossing. The Science of Shadow lost a great man that day, although others, such as Pergan Asul, strive to take his place. And the last scroll is in this location. You find a scroll with a wax seal which reads Scroll of Dusk. Upon reading the scroll, you learn the necessary technique needed to destroy the Dusk zombies. You have acquired the Scroll of Dusk. Basically, we have acquired 2 scrolls to deal with the tall zombies, which I assume there's a difference between, as in Dusk and Dawn, but I haven't seen a visual one, at least not a very obvious one. And other than that, we've found a bit of interesting stuff about shadow magic. As you can see, the zombies are easily dealt with once that it's possible. And the chasm next to Azra's Crossing is exactly what one of these scrolls mentioned about the conflict that happened. So we return to the goblin. The goblin jumps for joy, scarcely believing his luck. Ivgrizd last, in a room that way. The goblin points east. The room has many jars. The goblin taps his chest in salute to you, and then leaves the Twilight Temple. You receive a healing potion, 80 gold and 500 experience. So we've helped a little goblin guy. But there is another one, east. I'm gonna clean out the rooms west from here, so that we don't have to deal with those at least. And in this room, this well-appointed room was home to someone whose tastes were more sophisticated than those of simpler worshippers. Current inhabitants do not seem to appreciate their surroundings. It's right here. And let's just fight the zombies, who seemingly cannot appreciate the nicer things in life. Now, in this room, you can find a learning scroll for the Drain spell, which I'm gonna take, but that's probably more useful to a mage than me. I can perhaps simply sell it, but that's pretty much everything that this room has to offer. Onward. Now there is more to go through here, but I'm gonna leave that for later because I believe this dungeon circles around in a few places. So we're just gonna go back to the place where we found the goblin and continue east. Now I'll warn you, this path is windy, full of small rooms, full of singular creatures that you can accidentally kill at any time, and eventually you will run into the goblin. So be careful not to completely murderize him, and not to get murderized yourself. As you can see, that's a mage attacking me through a wall. Nothing can happen, but it can be confusing. There's a singular bag in this room, and when you open it, it says you find a healing potion caked in dust. So it's basically just a healing potion, but you can miss it on the ground. There are occasionally just bags on the floor, so bear that in mind. And here is Ivgrizd, over here. A thin goblin looks excited to see you and shouts, "You stink!" I mean, you stink because you live, not rot. Pardons, I'm Ivgrizd. How do you do? Not well, but better than most of my band. The Shadow Master of this temple took our headdress. Headdress? He came with vermin, but we and our wolves drove him off. But he took our shaman's ritual headdress. Now we have no shaman. Go on. We know the headdress is in the shadow rooms, near the Room of Midnight, but the room is locked. To open that door, you must first open the doors of the Twilight Chamber, which lead to the Rooms of Dusk and Dawn. You need the Scrolls of Dusk and Dawn to open these doors. Where are the scrolls? There are scroll rooms near the entrance, but we could not defeat the dead crawlers. Get the scrolls, open the doors. Then open the midnight door and find the headdress. Deal? Sure, I'd like a challenge. Now, fortunately for us, we've already found the scrolls. And don't worry, you can take this magica potion with a cracked seal, if Gris doesn't mind. And yes, I am struggling with the names, can you tell? Oh. Okay, so this room has not seen the rough use of some of the others. It looks like a place of meditation and prayer. Most of the current denizens seem to avoid this room. An obvious exception shuffles aimlessly in the south. It falls to its knees, raises its arms, and emits a gargling cry. After a time, it regains its feet, staring at you. So, towards the south is here to the right, and here is the zombie. Wallstock Violet. The zombie gargles. Help, Sha, he, save me. What? Shadow, twist, unlock, key, in temple. Save me? A shadow key, here? The zombie nods with a sound like too tight leather. I'll bring you that key. So, don't worry about hurrying, this zombie isn't going anywhere. But, basically when we get to the shadow key, we'll return to him, so we can help him. So how we do that is going to the south here, and finding more tall zombies. Easily dealt with. And over here is the door. Undead mill about this room, dedicated to the time of dusk. As in the Room of Dawn, a twisted power thwarts you here. The Room of Dawn is, I believe, the one at the entrance. Now, the zombies here are fairly weak. There's just a bunch of them. You can run around and fight them. They're not too annoying to find. You can just get surprised behind the back if you're not looking. And also avoid these gas leaks on the floor. You'll see why. I'll demonstrate. Just any minute now. Okay, I believe that's all of them. So basically, if you walk through the smoke, passing through the mist stings. You feel less well. Yuck. And if you continue doing that, you'll get damaged, so there's no point in that. Also there's a zombie here. Come over here. Let me turn you to pulp. And a chest in the middle of the room. Scroll Dead to Dust. And Ragada Cleaver. Dead to Dust is, I believe, a magic spell for a mage to use. So that's useful. As you can see, this room is pretty big. Now, if we go north, we find another zombie. Unbelievable. Trust me, you're always gonna miss one. North. What we'll find is that we return to the room where we found the first goblin. Over here. Now, we're gonna continue south and find this. More zombies. So this place is quite amusing. The walls are quite interesting and pretty. Now, we find a guy. Pergan Asul glides slowly as he takes stock of you. His adversary. His reaction suggests he doesn't think much of you. Have we met? Did I taste your shadow in Earth Tier caverns? No matter. Your shadow is practically marinated in courage, a taste I acquired some time ago. Taste this, monster. So we fight this guy. Paralysis means you cannot move. As you can see, I can turn, but I can't move forward and backward. Unluckily for him, I can still hit his face. So, he is easily dealt with. Pergan melts and bubbles into a dark pool, hissing. Once is done, but thrice has been foretold. But I have taken measure of your power, while you do not even suspect the measure of mine. The pool sweeps through the floor and vanishes. You have acquired the shadow key. So basically, we have dealt with Pergan. And this is an interesting little shadow gate. Use your shadow key on the gate. You can go over here, fight some zombies. You can probably imagine the stuff that you have to deal with here. Now there's a lot more zombies in this area, but it's not too bad as long as you keep less than 3 all around you. Yeah, it's probably fine. See, it all went perfectly. Now, these creatures are also here. I think they do magic because you can hear the noise, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't gotten any effects so far. Now, if you go over here, there is a statue. A quite fascinating statue of a creature of some sort. You can interact with it. The statue before you is not stone, but shaped darkness. As you look at it, you sense it is looking back, calmly, waiting. So we decide to ignore it. Open the chest. Inside are smooth grey gloves and a dark, supple shirt of armor. You have acquired night leather and you have acquired twilight gloves. The statue does nothing. If you interact with it again, it just says the same stuff. Come on. Well, no. See. Nothing happens, I believe, with the statue, so maybe later. I doubt it. But during your journey in this temple, nothing happens, so you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. It does look like a horrible thing to go attacking you later, but you're fine. Now we will go over in this direction. Back towards the zombie we met earlier. Over here, yes. The zombie looks at you as you touch him with the shadow key. The fetid flesh peels from the creature, revealing colored light, which soon coalesces into a man. The man stares at his hand, then his arms, then at you. I'm Wellstock Violet, merchant captain of Dragonstar. You have undone Azul's handiwork. I'm grateful. If you come to Dragonstar, seek me out in the western half of the city. I will then pay you handsomely in gold. The merchant leaves, you receive 900 points of experience. And lastly, we'll be talking to Ghast. Ghast shakes his head sorrowfully. Yes, breaching the midnight door is hard, but you must do it. I will, I believe we may have forgotten something. Let's turn back. Oh, it was in a random box. Okay, it was right here. Whoops. And back to Ghast again. Most brave, most brilliant, you are a feared hero. Ghast takes the shaman headdress from you and does a clumsy bow. The merchant pack is in our caverns, northwest in Snowline. If you come to retrieve it, I will have it for you. Ghast slowly saunters towards the outside world. You receive 600 experience points. Now going over here, we go back to basically the beginning. I'm just gonna go south over here, because we haven't done that yet. I mean, zombies are of course a necessary company here. And basically there is a chest here with chain greaves, and there isn't really much of anything. Oh wait, I forgot the place. I forgot to continue south from the scrolls room. I thought it circled around over there, but my mistake. Oh yeah, I forgot. So just some basic zombies and a bunch of treasure. Silver throwing knife, gold, silver short sword, nothing too special. But that's basically it for this place. And we can basically go outside. I mean, we can talk to the orc. Don't let those flesh rotters stop you, get my pack. Basically, the pack from which this whole story started is now in, if I recall correctly what the goblin said, Snow's Pass. So the next location that we should go is over there. But I'll leave that for next time, because the location is vast and you don't just run into this goblin. You need to find him. So we'll leave that for next time. I'll thank you for watching. I guess leave me some feedback so I can make better videos in the future. And see ya!